before we get into the game, actually I will load the game, but before we get going too far, I'd like to ask you guys for some feedback, everybody who's watching, whether you prefer this live walkthrough format, acknowledging the fact that sometimes I've gone the wrong direction and taken the scenic route, or if you prefer the other format where I was editing things like with Shadow of War. The problem with the Shadow of War format is I've been having issues with videos getting corrupted and losing some footage. The problem with this format is that I've noticed that there's some hitching or stuttering in the quality of the video. So I watched some of the previous episodes and I noticed that sometimes the sound would continue on, but the video replay itself would stop. So you missed out on some of the fights and whatnot. So I'm not sure which one you guys would prefer, being able to interact with me while I'm making the playthrough or the walkthrough, or just watching sort of the highlights that I think you guys should be aware of as you're playing through the game, like I did with Shadow of War. So let me know in the comments down below. This will be the last walkthrough until the big patch on July 17th for Shadow of War, and then I'll do a revised walkthrough for that one, based on the way that the game will be working at that point. If you like this format, then I'm happy to do a live one. If you like the old format, then I'll try and make that work and see what I can do to make sure that I'm not losing footage. All right, enough of me talking. I appreciate you guys watching and bearing with me. I'm new to the whole streaming thing, so let me know your thoughts down below. Let's get to the game though.
This city is more peaceful without the bombs, but no less dangerous.
And you will see that I've respawned at the gate here. Our next mission is to rescue Dr. Swansea from Doris Fletcher's theater. So we'll proceed on over and try and help him out. You'll remember from the last episode that he was kidnapped. So that's no good.
Sorry, sir. Easy with it, boys.
We have to stop it!
It's a leech! Kill it! Look lively! It's on to us! Take this! There's one of them! Take a breath of this! I'll put it out of you!
So Prewen never left Doris's theatre after they invaded. They must be holding Edgar here in their new headquarters.
Crush the leech, boys!
This is despicable.
Over there! There's one of them birds!
Keep an eye on each other.
Lord, give us strength! Remember your vows, friends! Fear no evil! Christ! He's dead!
Doris Fletcher was about to become a disaster. I'm getting close to having all the evidence. It's locked. It's locked. Blood of a pure heart, garlic, blood of a king. I don't understand. Perhaps this is what McCallum drank. I had better keep that in mind.
And there's our next collectible. We're missing 3 now. This one we get from the investigation mission. This one we'll get a little bit further on, as well, we will with this one.
Edgar. Edgar, can you hear me?
Jonathan, is it really you?
Easy. Easy. Save your strength. I'm getting you out of here.
Don't try to spare me. As a physician, I know all too well when it's too late. Punctured lung, broken ribs, and internal bleeding. An accurate diagnosis, wouldn't you say?
Edgar, what happened?
They wanted me to confess. Beat me black and blue.
Geoffrey McCallum ambushed me at the Pembroke Hospital. He was convinced you and I were responsible for the Skal epidemic.
I never imagined that self-righteous fanatic would dare to attack us in the open. What became of him?
To prove him wrong, I let him go.
Really? You sure that was the wisest course of action?
Time will tell. The most intriguing part of his accusation was that you and I were the pawns of some ancient vampire.
William Marshall. Yes, they tortured me to make me confess the same nonsense.
I trust you, Edgar, but the Guard of Priwen is onto something.
What do you mean?
William Marshall, for example. You speak of him as if you know him. How is that?
Jonathan, I cannot say I'm ready for another round of questions.
What can you tell me about William Marshall?
Not much. History paints the story he was the greatest knight who ever lived. Amongst the immortals, he had a yet greater legend.
Why is the Guard of Priwen so obsessed with him?
He was the only ancient vampire to escape the first great hunt launched by the Guard of Priwen in 1854. They believe he's an evil creature plotting his return.
Why would he deserve such a reputation?
I cannot say. The Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole has next to no intelligence on him. All I know is that he's supposed to be the oldest of all the British vampires.
Why would the Guard of Priwen believe you and I created the vampire epidemic?
Maybe due to our profession? Because I offered you shelter in my hospital.
While investigating the epidemic, I read some of McCallum's findings. I think you have some explaining to do.
I have nothing to hide, Jonathan. Nothing at all.
Do you remember when we suspected Sean Hampton of killing Harriet Jones?
Yes. The terrible episode that came as a shock to us all.
Harriet Jones faked her own death. When I found her in the sewers, she confessed she wanted everybody to pay for what happened to her.
That woman was extremely bitter, full of hatred and festering anger.
Do you know Doris Fletcher's real name?
No, I'm afraid not.
Her real name was Doris Jones. She was the daughter of Harriet Jones.
What do you want me to say, Jonathan?
Doris Fletcher visited her mother at the Pembroke Hospital. That's how she first got infected.
I know nothing about that. Miss Fletcher once came to visit the sick. That is all I know.
No, Edgar, there is more. Doris Fletcher was Harriet Jones's daughter. They exhibited the same symptoms: blind hate and strong physical mutation.
What does this sad story have to do with us?
Come on, Edgar. Don't you see the pattern here? The epidemic, the link between Doris and Harriet, the suspicion of McCallum.
How could I? I never saw Harriet Jones again after she fled the hospital.
Do you know where we are? Doris Fletcher's theatre. This is where that hateful creature plotted to spread the epidemic across London.
I only briefly met Miss Fletcher once when she visited the Pembroke Hospital. You say it was to see her mother. She seemed like such a sweet and graceful woman.
My point exactly. The disease turned her into a bitter soul, driven by vengeance just like her mother. A symptom of all the infected patients.
Certain diseases are known to produce similar effects. Rabies, for example. And rabies is not the devil at work.
Doris and Harriet shared more than a hidden family bond. They were the embodiment of the epidemic and are linked to the Pembroke Hospital. Come on, Edgar, this is no coincidence.
I swear I'm at a complete loss. All I did was administer vampire blood to cure old Harriet. There was no evil plan, no diabolical plot.
You did what?
I tested the regenerating and healing properties of vampire blood on Harriet Jones. My only intention was to find the cure for influenza, I swear.
Whose blood did you use? William Marshall's? Mine?
Lady Ashbury's. While transfusing her with human blood, humanely appeasing her hunger, I also kept samples of her blood for my research.
You used her blood on Harriet Jones? My God, Edgar, that's unethical. You betrayed 2 of your patients at the same time.
I made a mistake. But what is science if not trial and error? We both know it, Jonathan, we both know it.
What a poor justification for your morbid fascination and thirst for glory.
You have worked beside me. You saw what I'm doing at Pembroke Hospital. Jonathan, you know I'm not an evil soul. Just another victim of this tragedy.
No, Edgar, you are not going to die. Unless you want to.
What do you mean?
I can save you, Edgar. I can turn your broken body into one like mine.
You truly would? After all I've done, after all that's been said, you would offer me this gift?
I have no way of knowing which punishment would be worse, Edgar. But it is not for me to decide. So?
Oh, please, Jonathan, please. I beg you. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always searched for.
Very well, then. Prepare to die
be reborn. To face an eternity of guilt.
I'm ready. Oh, indeed, I am ready.
Enough!
So you'll note that you lost 2 hints, failed 2 hints by turning him. But that is your only choice if you want to pursue the not even once achievement. You gotta turn him. The last thing that we need before we can leave here is the safe key, and for that we're going to have to kill some more of the proving guard.
Smells like rotten meat. One's near. I know it. Lord, give us strength.
Check every door.
It smells like rotten meat. One's near. I know it. Lord, give us strength!
I didn't have this much difficulty finding him last time. Hold on just a minute.
Remember your vows, friends! We cannot be defeated! No rest for the wicked! Freeman shall prevail!
Stay close. Keep an eye on each other.
Oh, absolutely bizarre. That is the entire theater twice over, and I haven't found any of the proving.
What's still got brought me? One's near, I'm knowing.
It's locked. at a more convenient time.
It's too quiet. I don't like it. Fear no evil. We do the Lord's work here.
There's one more room that I didn't actually check, so I'm going to go back and check that.
Return at a more convenient time.
Stay close, guys. Have faith, brothers!
They are not here. Why? Alright, I'm gonna go try and rest and then come back and see if they spawn.
We cannot be defeated.
Return at a more convenient time.
Ah, we need to grab a note by the safe.
No rest for the wicked. Fear no evil. We do the Lord's work here.
It's locked. I should find the key to that box.
See them? We will. Let's pin him.
I have it. I can now open the box.
After that nonsense, I almost feel like cheering.
Fear no evil. We do the Lord's work here.
I really don't know if I should read this.
The answer to that question is do not read it. If you read it, you'll get a hint, which you lose if you don't read it. But if you don't read it, you get a collectible, and that will give you access to True Dragonbane easier than the way I did it earlier.
No rest for the wicked.
a more convenient time.
So we're going to run through, turn this into the fortune teller, take care of that, and then we'll go back and talk to Swansea, and then we will continue on to speak with Lady Ashbury.
So Harriet Jones became the original carrier when Edgar gave her vampire blood. I must tell Elizabeth.
Shoot this beast! Hit him down!
Die, Vernon!
Even someone you're close to.
Women of all countries unite!
Watch out, boys!
You're mine! Fear no evil! We do the Lord's work here! It is mine now! You're mine! Don't you!
The Empress again.
It's
what are the
locked, all
guards
right.
trying to tell us? Good evening.
I found your notebook. The one the guard of Prewen stole from you.
And you've brought it back to me. That's excellent news, Jonathan. Were you able to keep yourself from reading it?
Yes. I give it back to you untouched.
Then, my friend, you deserve a little something to reward your fortitude. Please, have this, with my gratitude.
What's in the notebook?
I can't answer you, John.
So you see this diagram tells you the order, or rather what position each of the symbols are for the true Dragonbane puzzle. So basically you need to do fish, I think it's fish, circle, square, circle, fish, diamond. And that is what we did to get the Dragonbane a couple episodes back. So we just have 2 more collectibles to get.
Jonathan, since you chose not to open it.
Unfortunately, we lose a hint for him, but that's okay.
Can you read
What
here?
the hunter?
Tell me, how do you measure?
I told
Is it Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely wander. Cards never lie, but they are never easy to read.
That's our last investigation mission. We'll continue on with the main quest. Actually, we need to go back to the hospital and talk to Swansea. But I think we can't do that until we rest, so might as well just talk to Lady Ashbury anyway. On second thought, I am going to level up as much as I can, and then I can at least show you what happens to the district since we have created 2 more very powerful immortals. And all of that since the last time we went to sleep. It's one busy night. So you can see it made a mess of the hospital. And pretty much everybody is sick, except for 2 people. It's kind of dangerous everywhere, right? Dawson continues his plan to build the wall. So pretty much everyone everywhere is now sick. Which means we get a lot of XP just by running around and curing people. So I am going to do that first, and we'll go talk to Swansea in the process. And then we'll continue on after that. So that XP will help us quite a bit towards the end of the game. So it's not a bad thing that things worked out this way. This area we need 4 headache remedies and 2 cold remedies.
This reed worries me, Mr. Jonathan.
Yes? Do you... Yes? Good... Good evening.
Can I?
Do you... I have...
All right.
Good...
Equality between men and women.
Good evening.
And
Do you...
my,
Goodbye. Good evening. What do you need? What?
Hell. You know that you are always. What do you...
Do you need... And I'm...
At least you survived. Support the equality between men and women.
Human! Kill it! It's done for him! Bloody leech! You feeble!
Good evening. Do you... I don't... Say... Goodbye.
It seemed...
Is it true you were dropped in rank? Tell me about it.
Yes, it is. I made a terrible mistake. I deserved it. Sometimes I think I should have resigned.
So why are you still working here?
Because I'm a damn fine copper. I just don't want to have someone innocent hung again by mistake because of me.
The death penalty is a great shame.
I agree. I'm convinced all civilized nations should abolish the death penalty. Maybe after the war, once that bloodshed is over, the survivors will change that.
Why do you think there shouldn't be a death penalty?
I believe no one should decide to take a man's life. Not a nation or a government.
Are you a pacifist, Inspector?
No, sir. But I believe in divine justice. Only God has the right to decide who will live and who must die.
Goodbye, Detective Inspector Albright.
Goodbye, Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. The Spanish flu is not the only hidden killer around here.
That's everybody in this district. We'll go cure Pembroke, or sorry, Whitechapel next.
Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Yes?
Do you need... Well? Goodbye.
Might help if I remember to craft the cures first. And speaking of technical difficulties, I'm already getting really long load times. Yay. So in order to keep zoning to a minimum, I think I will craft all of the cures and make sure that we're not zoning anywhere.
Good evening.
You look... well. Goodbye. Good... You don't... I will... How are...
I'm not...
Do you need... They...
Very...
Goodbye.
If I could get some...
Good evening. You don't... I can... I... Good evening.
One.
How do you... you... Goodbye.
Cordial can be the answer to all your problems. As long as you have the money.
Mr. E. In fact... What? Good. Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Dr. Reed. Come on in. Yes?
Do you need... what? Good...
Maybe it's time to see if this Christina...
Joe, please, I don't have your money.
Fancy...
You... Do you need to read? I don't...
Read.
Good...
You...
Can I keep? There is a... Goodbye.
I should never have taken up
Good evening.
It's...
Don't you... No doubt. I have... Good evening. Do you need... it? I am... Good...
Good evening.
Do you...
That would...
If you... Goodbye. Good evening. And good... Do you need... I am... I'll leave...
You Londoners are no match for me!
Good evening, Mr.
Is it... Wandering in this part of town at night, you're either brave or a fool.
So you can see that the streets get quite a bit more dangerous when the stability gets lower.
What can I do?
You seem Yes. Goodbye.
Tell me, how do you see the world these days?
Good evening, Harry.
Sure. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
So,
I'm not...
do you...
Yes.
Goodbye.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Pay me a glass of Algagen.
Just showing you that we got to keep in mind we need 2 more of the collectibles yet. So the legendary vampire, what we're missing is what's called the Myth of the Horned Vampire, which is in the sewers behind the Ascalon Club, and we'll be going there soon, so we'll pick that one up on the way. The other one, the Guard of Prewin, is Laughing at the Guard. And Laughing at the Guard is available in the foundry in Southwark. So once we go down and cure the docks, then I'm going to head down to Southwark really quick, and we should be able to pick it up at this point.
How dare you interfere with my hunt?
Back in the grave, you!
Jonathan, my dear, I can never thank you enough.
Thank me? For what?
Come now, you know what I mean. I am... well, I'm just like you.
I'm glad you like it.
How could I not be happy? You offered me the ultimate freedom. More than I ever could have dreamt of.
Will you continue as Pembroke's administrator?
Of course. I can help more than ever. And since I'm already dead, I can't get sick.
Are you not afraid Priwen will find you? Next time, they will do more than abduct and torture you.
I remain a man of peace. If things were to go awry, I would flee rather than slice them up as you would, my friend.
Have you seen Elizabeth? Has she passed this way since you returned?
No. And I'm terrified to see her again. I really am, Jonathan. She could very well tear me to pieces for what I did.
How do you feel since you changed?
Absolutely fine. Did you know I can determine the health of every patient or nurse just by looking at him? Fascinating.
Have you taken a life yet, Edgar?
Don't you think that's a private matter? I would not ask you such an indiscreet question.
Do you feel the hunger?
Yes. It's very peculiar, not like mortal hunger at all. It's like I'm never sated. Fortunately, blood is no rare commodity at Pembroke.
Have you news of Geoffrey McCallum? I'm sure both of you would have quite an interesting discussion after recent events.
He left the hospital without being treated for the severe beating you gave him. We'll meet again soon enough.
Do you not think he will kill you where you stand?
Funny you should mention it. I asked him once what he would do if I were a vampire. He said he would give me an hour for old time's sake.
What will you do now that you are immortal?
Experiment, my dear colleague. I have an eternity to make scientific progress. I could be the only scientist able to undertake extreme experiments upon himself.
My God, Edgar. Did you learn nothing from your forays into folly?
I have, I swear. No more experiments on mortals. See? I said mortals. How quickly the mind adapts.
What kind of experiments?
Who knows? Nervous shock, brain damage, pain and recovery. There's almost no limit to what my body can now endure. I could be the next Henry Head.
Goodbye, Edgar. I'm certain we'll meet again.
It's locked.
Tomorrow.
It's locked, all right.
Do you... Don't... And... Goodbye.
Never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead,
Good evening. Do you...
I could...
Well,
Thank...
I'll...
I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Good evening. And good... Do you... There is... Goodbye. Good evening. Good evening. Is... Goodbye.
my sweet girl, reads me like a book. I never could keep anything.
Good evening.
Do you... Just...
Well,
Good... Good evening. Do you... You are not...
And you...
I...
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
I'm quite...
Do you... Then...
I...
Thank... Good evening. So... No. Don't... Good...
Fear and disgust on every street corner.
Good evening.
good evening.
Do you... Goodbye. Good evening. Good evening. Do you... Just... Goodbye. You're... Consider... I'll... Good evening. Do you need... Yeah. I have... Goodbye.
It's a leech! Kill it! I no evil! No rest for the wicked!
Good evening. Do you... Don't... I'm certain you... Do you need...
No thanks.
Goodbye, Mr. Thapp.
So there's Swansea and everybody at the hospital cured. We'll head over to the docks next, then run down and get that last collectible.
You again? What?
Do you... So you... Goodbye. Good evening.
Hello.
Can I... Perhaps... Goodbye.
No, he's just a nut.
I should just run as far away
Well,
from this place as I
do you... Indeed. Goodbye. Good evening.
What?
Any... Take... Goodbye.
The epidemic, no one dares go outside.
You still...
Do you...
Don't...
Take... Goodbye. Good evening.
Good
Do you need... No.
Well...
Good... Good evening.
Yeah.
Do you... I don't... Goodbye. Eve. Do you need a room? No. So... Good evening, Mrs. Fishburne.
I can't remember the last time. What can I...
Mrs... Then... Good...
For every night, a darkness. And every dawn, another death.
See close! This one's a oh, Christ!
Demon!
This is no place for you, sir. Boy!
Easy does it, boy.
That is the foundry key, which will get us into the doors on the second floor. If you remember a few episodes back, there were some locked doors that we have to go through. That is the key to them. And that'll also get us into the office. That's our next collectible. So just one more to go.
Wave of bitter death to drown and purge our city.
Good evening. Do you... Treating... Goodbye. Good evening.
Are you...
Do you...
Death?
Well...
You...
Goodbye, Mr.
There's no...
Young...
I don't...
There's...
Thank you.
Good. Good evening.
Of course. Sir,
Goodbye.
glad.
Do you...
Oh no, I'm short of treatment for fatigue.
If you... Good.
Glad.
Do you... Of course.
Thank...
Good.
You...
Do you...
I'm...
I don't...
All right.
Well...
There we go. Now we're ready to speak to Lady Ashbury. And I think on the way through, I'm going to rest at our hideout. Now we've got all of the burrows sanitized, which should make traveling around a little bit easier. Whoops, no, we did need to cross that bridge.
Steady, boy! Lord, give us...
Long load time incoming.
What good fortune brings you back to me, Jonathan? What is it, my dear?
I'm afraid it's bad news, Elizabeth. The worst, actually.
Please, speak up.
Edgar is no longer in McCallum's grasp. I resolved that matter.
Where is our good friend now? Is he well?
Of a sort. His injuries were mortal. I had no choice but to make him one of us. To save him. Or to punish him.
To punish him? I fail to understand. And what is the source of this cold tone in your voice?
Edgar Swansea was responsible for the Skal epidemic, Elizabeth. It was he who unleashed the deadly scourge upon London.
What? Are you certain? This is the most terrible accusation of all.
He confessed everything to me. He sought to cure the disease, to exploit vampire blood to stop the epidemic. But he unwittingly gave birth to a catastrophe.
All those poor victims. How could he do it? What happened?
Edgar's behavior was beyond lunacy. He had neither the discipline, knowledge, nor the proper facilities to conduct blood experiments.
I must say I'm shocked, Jonathan. Who would have thought it? And the poor patient. Let me guess. It was Harriet Jones, was it not?
Yes. That explains how Doris Fletcher was infected, and how she became an Ichor. She secretly visited her mother at Pembroke.
Then we have no choice. We must act quickly, Jonathan. We must return to the sewers and put an end to the threat poor Harriet embodies.
I have one more matter to discuss with you. Harriet Jones was the primary case, but do you know what a healthy carrier is?
There is a tone in your voice that frightens me, Jonathan. What are you trying to say?
It was your blood Edgar used for his experiment on Harriet Jones.
What? No. No. This can't be. Oh, God.
Elizabeth, are you all right?
No, I have to go.
What do you mean?
Leave me alone. Save the city, Jonathan. Save what can be saved.
Elizabeth, I need answers. Why did your blood
Stay
cause
away
this?
from me. Please. I swear I never was your enemy.
Wait! No! Elizabeth!
Another wonderful load time incoming.
Now would be a good time to blend the recipe Marshall used when he fought the disease. think I know
I
where to
said
find
stay
what
away,
I need.
sir!
You'll pay for that!
London has brought so much food.
Whose blood could be purer than that of William Marshall? Lord Redgrave will have to spare me a drop.
Welcome back, Dr. Reed.
Christ, Arthur, you still haven't cleaned up this mess? What's wrong with you, man?
Welcome back, my mortal peer. Let me look at you with my piercing new eyes.
Good evening, Aloysius. How do you feel?
Mr. Dawson to you. You may be my maker, and I thank you for that. But we must not forget etiquette.
Forgive me, sir.
You're forgiven, my dear doctor. And if you need anything, even the most expensive items to help you in your mission, you just have to ask. I'll be glad to sell you some of the rarest goods I own.
I may need equipment and some rare items to protect the city, sir.
All count on you now, Dr. Reed.
Good evening, Lord Redgrave.
Welcome, Lance-bearer. To what do we owe this pleasure?
I've located the true origin of the epidemic, and I'm about to end it.
Good. We've held out thus far, but the time has come to put an end to this crisis. Tell me, what do you need?
The blood of William Marshall.
The blood of William Marshall? Of my maker? Are you mad? This blood is the purest of all. My maker proffered it to me on the battlefield. I cannot hand it to you.
Stop this farce. Marshall never was your maker. I have no idea how you acquired his blood, but I need it now.
I see. Well, in that case, given the gravity of the situation, I suppose I can spare you a drop.
Thank you, my lord.
Now go, Lance-bearer. Craft a legend to be sung to Ascalon recruits for the ages to come.
Yeah, that's right. We put that egotistical elitist in his place.
These leaflets were telling the truth all along.
Let the guard down!
Support the equality!
Maybe I should leave the city.
Stupid beast! No!
I cannot use garlic, but there may be a substitute in the Pembroke Hospital drug storage.
Welcome, son.
There it is. Insulin. Much more efficient than garlic against blood poisoning and sepsis, and much less dangerous for me. Thank you, Dr. Polescu.
Stay back, beast!
McCallum really drank the blood of the king off, then I may have found another vital ingredient for my recipe.
I shall
Oh no! Run! Back to the shadows!
Good evening, vampire hunter.
Are you here to end me, Leech? You'll find I will not be killed easily.
Not at all, McCallum. I am here because I need you.
Really? I'm intrigued. Speak up, then.
I need the blood of a king. The blood of Arthur. I'm certain you possess it, and I must have it.
The Guard's most sacred and precious relic. Why would you? You found Marshall's memoirs. I should have destroyed that book.
I need the antidote to save this city, McCallum.
It is within me to take your words as truth. I want to, but I must know more. What precisely are your plans?
A creature called a disaster is about to be unleashed. It falls upon me, as once it did Marshall, to stop it before the whole country is ravaged.
I should have destroyed that book. And yet, I wish I could join this battle alongside you. But this crusade is not mine to fight.
Do you not understand? We wanted the same thing from the outset. A means to end this vampire epidemic.
Not enemies. Maybe that is so. Take it then. I see no other hope for this city. If this is some trick, you will be damned, Dr. Reed.
Thank you. Can we speak more?
Indeed. Why not?
Why are you here?
The man who raised me after the brutal murder of my parents. He's buried here.
Were both your parents killed by vampires?
Yes. And yet worse. My father returned to Dublin a vampire, and tore out my mother's throat.
And who was this man?
Carl Eldritch. One-time leader of Prewin. He killed my father in front of me. Helped me hunt my brother Ain after teaching me how to kill leeches.
What will the Guard of Prewin do now? Will you stop the Great Hunt?
Yes. But we shall continue to protect innocents from beasts like you, and your red-headed friend.
Like me?
I am indebted to you for sparing me at Pembroke. But this won't always be the case. I'm no coward like those St. Paul's Stowe brothers.
How long have you known Lady Ashbury? Where is she? And what will you do to her?
We saw you meeting her, so of course we investigated. But she is gone. Our scouts reported she has sold some paintings and departed for an unknown destination.
Adieu, vampire hunter.
Until we meet again, blood drinker.
Might as well run back over to Whitechapel. Well, that'll cause us to have to Okay, we're gonna run over to West End.
Lead spotted! Watch out, boys! Stupid beast!
One way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other?
Perhaps I should look into it.
The blend seems stable. Time to go and find Harriet in the sewers.
What has happened to the London that I knew?
The leech, boys!
Christ, he's dead!
God wants me!
It's locked, all right.
And there we go. That is all of the collectibles that you can get in the game. Now, I'm going to give you a bit of homework. What you're going to want to do at this point, in order to get the other 2 achievements that you haven't gotten yet. Well, actually, I take that back. You've still got several that you haven't gotten back. You're going to want to make a copy of your save. So that's the first thing. Make a copy of your save at this point. Then you are going to go around and murder everybody, every named NPC everywhere. Just go and drain them all. Then you're going to rest. That should throw all of the burrows into hostile. As you're killing the NPCs, you'll also want to go to their chests and loot anything that's in the chest. That'll give you all of the missing weapons that you haven't looted yet, and about three different achievements for the different weapon classes. Once you've rested and all of the burrows become hostile, that will give you the London is Burning achievement as well. So you'll get several achievements by doing that. Once you've done all of that, then you want to reload your backup save so that you're at this point, and you don't have to go back and redo things to get here. So this is the best point to make a backup save at. The other thing that I'll mention is if you're having trouble with the Harriet fight, what you can do once you get back to your backup save is you can go around and, well, you can rest a couple of days. That'll cause people to get sick. And then you run around and cure them. And you'll get about, I don't know, maybe around 900, 1,000 XP. If you cure them on the first stage of illness, you'll get about 2,000 XP if you kill them on the or cure them on the second stage of illness. And I think about 4,000 XP if you cure them on the third stage of illness. So it can take a while to level up, but it's kind of worth it if you're having difficulty. You'll get a few more ability levels and it'll make the last fight easier. I'm going to try it on level 28 just to see if I can do it. It should be much more challenging to do it at this level. My last 2 playthroughs, I think I was around level 35 or so when I did the fight, and it was really easy. So hopefully I'll still be able to survive, but make this a little bit more of a challenge. But we're heading into the last fight now. So this is your last opportunity really to run back out and do the other achievements before you come back and do this one. I already have those other achievements, otherwise I would make footage showing you how to go around and kill everybody, but I think you can probably figure that one out for yourself. I will also post in the description of this video, once I finish this episode, I'll post a link to a guide that tells you the locations of all of the remaining weapons so that you can be sure you can pick up any of the ones that you missed.
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
And we're back at Sean's place. You can also come through Sean's area to get to the hive if you want. I didn't mean to do that. Too long loading times coming up. They really need to do something about whatever triggers those long loading times. It's really, really fast when you first start out, and then something happens along the way that just causes the slow load times. But we're almost at the end, so I think I've only got one more load time after this, assuming that I am able to kill Harriet on the first go.
It's locked. This place has been ransacked. They've all been slaughtered. Priwen. No, not their style. Where has Harriet gone? She must have left a trail I could follow. Where is old Bridget? Damn. If I'd come earlier, they would still be alive.
I blame the load times.
Take not a step further, child, for you are unprepared.
You, at last. I wondered when you would show your face again. Step away. We have nothing to discuss.
Desist, child. You cannot confront the monstrosity unleashed upon this land without due preparation. I shall not allow it.
All right. But no more riddles. Enough of the obscure songs and prophecies. I ask questions, and you answer them.
My words have been as clear as crystal lakes, my child. You seem unwilling to drink, to listen, to learn.
What is your true appearance?
I do not understand. This is who I am.
blood? You are made of blood. Surely you are joking.
Why would I? And no, I'm not made of blood. I am blood. Blood is what I am since my birth and for eternity.
But who are you really? Tell me your name.
I am your maker. I am the servant of the Red Goddess and protector of this land. I have many names.
Just give me one, then.
There are those who call me Myrddin Wild, the Wild Horned Man. But I never was a man. I was born out of blood.
Why did you choose me?
Only you could provide a modern, scientific answer to this ancient, mystical threat.
What kind of modern answer?
Disease, contagion, and contamination. How they course through veins is your dominion, my child. Your choices have made you. Only you can save this land.
Speak to me of this ancient threat.
The blood of hate. Vessel of the wrath of the goddess. When she awakens, a disaster will be born into this world, for she is hunger and anger.
I'm here to stop Harriet Jones. She is the original carrier. The well from which this corruption flows.
I have heard you, but be wary. Harriet Jones's mind is no more. She has metamorphosed into an apocalypse. Born from, drenched in, and driven by the blood of hate.
Tell me about this disaster, creature. I know London fell victim to such a thing in 1666.
A disaster is pure anger born through blood. Its name means bad star, for they only appear when our queen unleashes her unquenchable wrath upon the world.
And who is this queen?
She is the Red Goddess, the queen of blood. In my youth, 100 lifetimes ago, she was worshipped as the Morrigan. She is my mother. She is yours, too.
The Morrigan? The Celtic goddess of war? Is this a ruse of some kind?
She has been worshipped in many forms throughout the ages. The true nature of the Red Queen is beyond your comprehension, eluding even mine. But know this, she is a vengeful mother.
So the disaster is some sort of accident. A disease vampires carry dormant in their blood, waiting to emerge.
That's your modern answer. But a disaster is at the same time both less and more.
Tell me what it is then, in your own words.
A disaster is the pure will of our queen. Whenever she dreams of walking this earth, she awakes in this putrid vessel.
What is the blood of hate?
It is the curse of the goddess. It is the hunger in you, the need for blood, the will to strike and to punish, to spit in the eye of God.
I only wish to know how to put an end to this epidemic.
To perform an act so noble, you must protect yourself from its poisonous kiss, my child.
I know. McCallum used such a serum when trying to kill me. However, I have produced a more efficacious version of the antidote.
Your final task awaits you at the end of these tunnels. I've known for ages you were worthy of this challenge, my champion, Bittersweet.
Will it be over then? Once I've defeated this creature?
Yes. the threat will dissipate like so much smoke, for you will have purified its source.
And then what? What will become of me?
How would I know? I am no god, and your fate is in your own hands. For you are our champion.
What will happen thereafter? What future awaits me beyond these dark tunnels?
Your fate, my child, and the fate of this land. A disaster is about to enter this world to smite us all and teach us humility. You are our final hope.
You tricked me. My sister died for your schemes. I have brought suffering and tragedy into this world. I am not, nor will I ever be your champion.
Very soon you'll come to know that sacrifice is sometimes necessary. I understand the grudge a child bears towards his father and mother. Be brave, my child.
These poor skulls didn't stand a chance.
If you really want to, you can still back out of the fight and go level up. This is your last warning. Use that door to get back to this point. It's a shortcut.
Oh, I'm sick. So sick. Doctor, help me, please. I'm in such pain.
I'll be glad to be of assistance.
Ah, like your help, Doris. Liars! All of you! My poor baby. I've been such a bad mother. But the Queen herself forgave me. Gave me another chance.
Harriet, you must stop all of this. I can't let you infect anyone else.
How dare you interfere with the Red Queen's plans, Doctor? How can you stop the course of nature? I was a good mother.
Ouch. She's a little bit tougher when you're not at the same level as she is. So I was being a little overconfident there. Shouldn't have stood in the mist, and I should have been dodging around a little bit more and whatnot. So I'll play a little bit more conservatively since she is able
They
to kill
took
me.
my daughter from me!
Is this a dream? Am I awake? Is this anger I feel? Is it wrath? I think it is. Oh, how infinitely, how intensely, how irredeemably are you all going to suffer now? Such innocence! Such guilt! I will reap the land. Feed your mother, child. Abundant the harvest. Spread the crop. Eat, for this is my blood. Do you think your champion defeated me, my child?
No one could ever defeat you, mother of us all, for you are our every root and leaf.
You've always been my most amusing son.
Then go back to sleep, my queen, and smile at us from your dreams.
Did they feel my wrath? Have they suffered enough?
More than ever, mother of us all.
Until the next time.
Until the next time.
So it's over then, young Ekon. You have put an end to this terrible menace.
Old Bridget? What are you doing here?
This is my realm, Ekon. This is Suaskal territory.
But they were all massacred by the monstrosity that Harriet became.
Others will come, engendered by deceitful vampires. I don't mean you, of course.
I thought you'd been slaughtered, with all the other Suaskals.
I was up above, in search of help when Harriet suddenly turned into that thing. I have no idea what it was.
It's over now. London is no longer shrouded in the disaster's shadow. We're all safe.
Yes, you prevailed in the end. I hope you'll forgive me for the way I treated you when first you presented yourself at our gate.
No need to apologize, really.
Perhaps there will be no stories told or songs sung of what happened here today. But I'll know the truth. Jonathan Reed, newborn vampire, stepped forward and saved us all.
I'm honored to be part of this city's legend. Thank you, old Bridget. May I ask you just one question?
How could I refuse you anything now? I'll answer just as I answered Lady Ashbury when we met a few nights ago.
Who are you? Really?
I was born with the name Bridget Eleanor Wellington. In 1738, my beloved and immortal husband decided to preserve my beauty and youth forever by making me drink his blood.
You were Lord Redgrave's wife. Then the pompous fool rejected you, did he not?
It was about 200 years ago. Peace found me in time. And I sincerely hope it will find you too, now that all is over.
No, it's not over. I may have ended the vampire epidemic, but I still need answers from the woman I love.
I feared you would say that. Go then, young Ekon, and face your fate. Just remember that I'll always be here for you.
London has been cleansed. This catastrophe came about when an ancient, malignant will crossed paths with mortal imprudence. For now, we are safe. For now. My craving for blood remains. Red like hate, red like hunger. Red as life and death, passing from one immortal to another. From predator to victim. Patiently biding its time to rise again. London has been cleansed for now, but there's a simmering hatred, fear, and old grudges. When will we succumb, mortals and immortals alike? The next disaster is only a matter of time. My only hope now is to catch the woman I love, to understand why she fled, and unmask the secret that has been lurking in her blood for so long. Well, this is it. Lady Ashbury's domain. Why am I not surprised it's not on any maps? I'd better hurry.
Here we are at a very picturesque castle. I don't know if you remember earlier on in the game, there was a painting that you talked about and how it was, beautiful and all of that. Well, this is the place. Time to explore a bit.
Beautiful morn, my child. It looks like dawn is here at long last.
Can't you just leave me alone? Your precious queen has been sent back to the bottomless pit from whence she came. The nightmare is almost over.
I am here to say goodbye. The sun's warmth exhausts me. Soon I will rejoin my queen in her endless sleep. It is over. You did well.
Why did Harriet Jones become a disaster?
You are the doctor. You hold the knowledge needed to answer such a question. Have you the answer?
I noticed that all the Icors were female, as if a male couldn't endure the metamorphosis. Harriet was also a bitter and resentful woman, as was her daughter.
If the Morrigan prefers despoiled women to become the vessels of her wrath, we should be thankful that but one disaster hath been cast upon this wobbling world.
Icors seem to carry various diseases. They did not merely turn people into skulls. Their presence alone spreads death.
Who knows whether the Red Queen awakens when cursed mortals endure such epidemics, or if the contagions emerge like a curse as she awakes.
So our beloved mother will just go back to sleep, now that enough people have suffered. Is that it?
No, Jonathan. The Morrigan has been appeased because you dared confront her. You have prevailed, my bittersweet champion.
And what are you to her? Her counterpart? Her opponent in some timeless game?
She is my mother. My dreadful and sour-tempered mother. She is yours too, in a way, but you are not born from her terrible womb like me. You are but a distant child.
What does she seek? Revenge? Retribution?
She seeks nothing, since she only dreams of it. In the ancient tongue, when I was young, her name meant Ghostly Queen. Pray she never fully awakens, for her wrath knows no bounds.
This is not over. I am here to find the true origin of the blood of hate.
'Tis unwise to interfere with a tale rooted so deeply in the suffering of others.
What will become of the Brotherhood?
I foresee trouble for them now that your progeny considers becoming the new primate.
But I'm certain the current primate has no wish to resign.
Exactly. And I am not fully convinced your progeny truly understands what dreadful power he is about to defy.
What will become of the vampire hunters?
They will never stop searching for William Marshall, for he escaped their two great hunts. Remember that you too are now on their dark list.
What will happen to Ascalon? Will you let them run the country from the shadows?
With your progeny at its head, it would not be long before this Ekon assembly catches a second wind. To discreetly control its plans is your decision to make.
No. I must know why Elizabeth fled here when I discovered she was the original healthy carrier.
No, she is not what you say she is. That is a secret you will discover soon enough.
And you? Why are you here? Which new thread of which old twisted plan are you seeking to pull now? Tell me the truth.
I am just here to salute my sons, and to bid them fare thee well.
Your sons? Plural? My God, will you ever stop speaking in riddles?
Perhaps I am too old for your spoken language. Perhaps you now have so many subtle words you no longer hear the simplest ones.
Who are your sons? Why do you bid them farewell now?
You are my son, as is William Marshall.
This is madness. How many have you created? Who else? Shakespeare? Isaac Newton? Alfred the Great? Francis Drake? Thomas More? Guy Fawkes?
My progeny is scarce, for I rarely feel the urge to protect this land anymore. But yes, one of those you named is your immortal brother. Maybe you shall meet one night.
So that is all we are to you? Puppets you create to defeat some threat born from a dreaming devil?
No. You are my sons. I am proud of you. I mourn when you fail.
When he fought me, Geoffrey McCallum used a serum made of King Arthur's blood. Since then, I have discovered that it was vampire blood. Whose blood was it?
You just said it. It was the blood of a king. The blood of the champion I chose to save this land in its time of greatest peril.
King Arthur was also your progeny. Why am I not surprised?
Yes, he was. But he failed in the end. And for centuries the land suffered his defeat.
Tell me about William Marshall. Why is his blood so strong?
He is not stronger than you, only older. You are strong, Jonathan Reed. A champion of your time, chosen to defeat a threat spawned of this generation.
Is he here? Is William Marshall here? Is that why you're here now, too?
Have I not already answered that question?
His blood was not tainted. The blood Lord Redgrave possessed. That which I used in the serum. But what if it had been?
Then you would have failed, I suppose. For the blood of hate would have corrupted you too.
Speak clearly, then. And answer my last question.
What is it?
Did I defeat the epidemic?
Now you've found the castle, Jonathan Reed. Only you can answer that. Farewell, my child. I shall dream about you soon.
It's locked, all right. The castle walls look decrepit. Maybe I can find a way to sneak in. I cannot enter. The lady of the manor isn't expecting visitors. Maybe it's just my imagination, but I think I smell Elizabeth's perfume. She must be here somewhere. It's locked. This castle is falling apart. That sweet fragrance. Elizabeth's perfume. She was here, and recently. What are these symbols? I can feel a mechanism, but it doesn't work. Voila. This painting looks suspicious. A sword and a moon are the symbols I should look for.
We already did that, Jonathan. So you can cruise around, open up more doors, get some more of the backstory. There's lots of letters and paintings and things that you can see. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the game. But you are welcome to explore if you'd like. See, for example, this one. And this is a great tome to read. It tells a whole lot of backstory.
Drop your sword, Father. You have nothing to be afraid of.
Shall we abandon this then? Shall we lower our heads?
No. Never. You taught me that.
Blood is approaching. Old but young. How strange. Shall I drink it? Smite it?
No, Father. He is a friend. Please, rest. I'll take care of it.
Caution, Elizabeth. Deceit runs through these veins.
I know, Father. What took you so long, Jonathan?
Is this really him?
Yes. This is William Marshall, 1st Earl of Pembroke, servant of 5 mortal kings, former regent and savior of England. The greatest knight who ever lived, according to some.
And you called him father?
For he gave me eternal life, and much more.
I have so many questions, Elizabeth.
You always had questions, Dr. Reed.
Now that I stand before you both, in this vault, I know not where to begin.
We still have a few minutes left.
Will you go back to London?
No, Jonathan. I do not intend to.
And what of your daughter?
Charlotte is a strong, independent woman who's about to come into money. I took care of everything. Now it's time for her to shape her future.
Why did you flee here?
When you told me I was the healthy carrier, I had nowhere else to go.
You mean you had to return to the real source of this scourge?
Yes, to end it, once and for all.
Where are we? What is this place?
This is the Ashbury estate. I inherited the title when I purchased the castle.
Is this your retreat? Something of a secret place?
It's more of a sanctuary, really. This is where I take care of my father. Ever since he became unwell.
Are you not afraid someone might discover you here? It's not that hard to find.
Do not assume that I would hesitate to silence anyone who tried to reveal my secret. Fortunately, it has rarely come to that.
I have destroyed the disaster, this creature that Harriet Jones had become. The epidemic is no more, and London will recover. In time.
Yes. You did well, Jonathan. You truly saved the city.
Yes, we did. Despite all obstacles. I'm truly convinced we did it together, Elizabeth.
I cannot bear knowing I was the cause of all this. Through the use of my own blood.
No. This catastrophe was the result of unethical experimentation. And the will of a creature so inexplicably evil, she exceeds all the terrible wonders I have seen since my death.
But it was my blood all along. My corrupted blood of hate. The poisoned blood of my father. A healthy carrier. That's all I am.
We could cure him.
It's too late. The blood of hate has run for too long. The antidote would not work on him. I tried. Believe me, I tried.
Is he dangerous?
What do you think? He is a thirsty echo who has not fed in centuries. An elder vampire, driven by an urge to kill and spread the blood of hate.
No redemption, then.
And yet he thinks he has been offered immortality by the angels to protect the feeble and to smite the unholy.
Can he communicate?
Yes. Sometimes he even seems like the noble knight who saved and raised me. But you know, the malice never fully leaves his eyes.
Why are you hiding William Marshall here?
How could I not take care of him? He sacrificed himself by giving me the only dose of antidote he had.
He gave you the antidote?
Yes. And in doing so, he knew he'd have to be confined here. And yet he volunteered. That's how great a man William Marshall was. And still is.
What do you do for him?
I visit him as often as possible. I paint the landscapes he will never see again. I feed him with my blood.
You feed him? You barely sustain yourself on the weak blood of the dying, yet you give him your blood?
After he saved me from the blood rage, I swore I would never kill to feed. He said the same.
William Marshall infected you. He is the true, original carrier.
Yes. But he saved me by sacrificing himself.
Saved you? How?
The tears of angels. The cleansing of impure blood by an older, more powerful blood. It worked on me, did it not?
Yes. Blood is the definitive key to our species. Scowls, cleansing, lineage. Do you really think it worked?
It has, Jonathan. I was nothing but a beast who took pleasure in slaughter. I roamed across Europe, reaping my bloody crop. It was the blood of hate, but my father's antidote cured me.
What about us?
What do you mean?
You know my feelings towards you, Elizabeth. But you left without a word. So I'm worried about your feelings towards me.
I love you, Jonathan. I've loved you since the moment I saw you rescue poor Mr. Hampton in that filthy slaughterhouse. Forgetting the danger as you turned your back, like the newborn fool you were.
How did you meet William Marshall?
He was an Ekon for centuries when he found me. He saved me from certain death by making me his progeny.
Why did he choose you?
You should ask him that.
Did you ever blame him?
Not even when he was infected and bit me. He is my father. He raised me. He taught me how to behave.
Who are you, really?
How could I answer that? I went through many lives and identities to reach this day. To you, I am Elizabeth Ashbury, and that's all I wish to be.
I understand. And I respect your desire for privacy.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You should have told me.
No, Jonathan. The William Marshall myth lies at the heart of so many hostile plans. I could not risk jeopardizing his safety.
So why did you come here? You knew I would follow you. I can't let you go.
Because I know now the blood of hate is still in my veins. No one but I can put an end to this tragedy.
I can help you. You can trust me, Elizabeth.
No, I cannot. You chose to follow Ascalon's orders. You unleashed an immortal Aloysius Dawson into this already fragile and suffering city.
Would your protege agree to speak with me? I have so many questions for him.
Go on, Jonathan. But be careful.
Yes?
Sir William. My God. You really are William Marshall. You served Richard the Lionheart and his brother, King John. It is such a privilege to meet you.
I did in my day. Come closer if you want to speak. For my hearing isn't what it used to be.
I think your hearing is fine, sir.
What is it you want then?
I found and defeated the disaster that was threatening to smite London. You should know that the city is safe for now, Sir William.
Then may I call you brother? Did you resist its poison? Even a scratch from a beast so evil could endanger you and all those you care for.
You also defeated one in 1666. Who was it?
She was a malicious witch who spread plague throughout the city with her army of rats. She had been hiding in a bakery in Pudding Lane for months when I finally found her.
How did you defeat it?
We fought for hours. In the end, I had to lock her in St. Paul's Cathedral and burn the building down. I wanted to be sure she was destroyed.
I found your research on the antidote. The tears of the angels. What ingredients did you use?
Once I understood what the ingredients were, I used the tears of King Richard and the pure blood of the valiant Boadicea.
King Richard and Boadicea?
How did you find such relics?
It took me many years to locate their hiding place. Then I had to learn the formula. If I recall, it belonged to an ancient brotherhood. The Order of St. Paul, I believe.
And did it work?
Yes. The tears cleansed my poor Elizabeth's blackened heart. It was such a blessing to see her smile again.
The blood of hate. How does it affect you? Do you feel it now?
The blood of hate? Yes. Nothing more than a sneeze, really. A sneeze held for so long, you could blow a fortress down if you released it.
Can we speak about the Morrigan?
The Red Queen? What of her?
You met her, did you not?
Just once, but she never ceased to sing to me. I love her song. It is a song of blood and war. I only wish she would sometimes let me rest.
Do you know who she is?
I don't want to discuss this in front of my sweet Elizabeth.
Why?
For a time, she too could hear the Red Song. The steps she danced to its melody brought pain upon the world.
I would like to ask you about vampires.
Vampires? What about them?
Considering your experience, please tell me what you know.
They are terrible creatures. I have seen and fought many in my time. Foul temptresses with sharp claws and shrieking beaks.
I have never seen such a creature. What are you talking about?
Of course you've never seen a creature like them. Vampires are deadly, swift and implacable.
Where did you encounter such creatures?
The last time I saw one was in a Celtic temple near Salisbury. A terrible and god-forsaken place full of ghosts and pestilence.
Do you remember Myrddin, your maker?
Only God is my maker, for he created everything on this earth. He blessed me with eternal life through his archangel, Michael.
But Myrddin, Michael, is a vampire. He made you a blood-sucking creature of the night.
Blood, yes. I used to drink it from the throats of the unworthy. Then I was punished for my deceit. During my penance, I rely entirely upon my sweet Elizabeth.
Did you really sacrifice yourself to save her?
That was the only righteous path. The blood of hate made me betray her. I am at peace here. I can think about what I've done and how I failed.
Do you not want to be cured?
No. This hunger is mine. I would feel empty without it. It has been part of me for so long. All I want is quiet. Silence.
You agreed to be confined here, then?
Yes. Once I was sure she was cured, I asked to be locked down here. I deserve it. The world needs it.
How did you meet Elizabeth?
Times were tough. I had awakened to protect the land from a new plague. I heard her sing for her dead family. Singing for her death to come. I chose to save her.
When was that?
It was so long ago. A few years after Elizabeth of England and Catherine of France established their alliance against Spain.
What did you do?
I raised her as my progeny. After she left to see the world, I rebuilt her deceased parents' inn. Owned it as William Thorne for a time. Those were good years.
Tell me about Elizabeth. How was she infected?
I do not wish to discuss it.
Please, Sir William. I need to know what the blood of hate is. How is it transmitted?
After defeating the disaster in St. Paul's Cathedral, I returned to my retreat, infected. This is where my sweet Elizabeth found me, for she heard my pain from across the sea.
Where is this retreat you mentioned?
In London, under Temple Church, beneath my empty tomb. I always loved to sleep there while listening to the bell above.
What happened then?
The blood of hate had twisted me into a rage-filled man. I attacked my progeny and infected her too. Forgive me, Elizabeth. I failed you.
You bit her again? Is that how she was infected with the disaster's blood? I think I understand now.
Elizabeth fled, and I fell to my knees, begging for forgiveness. I swore I would find a way to make things right.
We could set you free. Let you out. Isn't that what you want?
I pray for the day I'll see the sky again. I have all but forgotten its colors. I could walk and do so many things beneath the stars. But I doubt it will be wise to release me.
Then will you stay here and repent?
Elizabeth told me it will not be long now. I cannot wait to feel the sweet caress of her hand on my cheek after so long, as she releases me. Has the time come?
Yes, Father.
Why not unleash me then? To see the sky a final time?
You already are the sky, and all its stars.
I'm not defeated, for I welcome the sword you bear, for it is mine.
You were never defeated, my lord. Farewell, Father. And to you also, Jonathan.
What do you mean?
I can't stand what I've become. This healthy carrier, as you put it. The flames will purify the poison that runs in my veins.
No! I won't allow this to happen.
I am death, Jonathan. Wherever I go, I can't stand it.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, champion of Myrddin, chosen to save England from the vampire epidemic. I could cure you.
What do you mean?
We are creatures of blood, Elizabeth. Everything about us is in our blood. With time, I could perfect the antidote William Marshall gave you. Trust me, for time is on our side.
That is a risk I cannot take, Jonathan. I won't bring another such disaster into this world.
Elizabeth, no. Trust me. I can save you.
How could I trust you, Jonathan? How could I take such a chance?
I'll stay here with you then. As long as we must, until I find a cure.
You have no idea what you're talking about, Jonathan. Despite his madness, William was strong enough to starve for centuries. I doubt we can do the same.
That's where you're wrong, Elizabeth. Since I murdered my poor Mary after my rebirth, I vowed to never take a life again, and I've succeeded.
I'm not sure I have the strength of character. I'm not like William. I'm not like you.
Let me teach you then. Come with me, my love.
Oh, Jonathan, if only this could be true, but I really don't know.
We'll run away. Go to the deepest forests, the highest mountains. Untouched by man, we'll hide in solitude until I find a cure.
Do you trust me then?
Until the end of the world, my love.
One prayer for the summoned, called by this song. Child born from darkness, whose path he must find. Now the song is sung and your path chosen. England is safe, for you have prevailed. I wish you a peace duly earned for the centuries yet to come. And they will come. I bid thee farewell, my champion bittersweet. My queen sleeps once again, and I'll soon join her slumber. Until alas she rises, woken by the hunger never fed.
That's the episode and the game. No need to make you sit through the credits, but thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the series and the walkthrough. Hope you found it helpful. Please do let me know in the comments below, as I requested, what your thoughts are, whether you like the live format versus me recording and editing. If you've watched the Shadow of War walkthrough, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let me know what you prefer, and I'll see what I can do for the updated walkthrough for July 17. Until then, keep an eye out. I'll probably stream some games now and then when I'm playing. In fact, I'm thinking about heading in to stream some Shadow World Legends for the anniversary event that's happening now next. So I'll see you back for that.